Here, Boy tailing out second last, Lagiroa, and out to the rear of the field is In the Event, passing the judges' box with a lap left to go, and Quarterman takes up the running a half length to Landowner. Out three off the fences, Fra as they go to the straight, being followed closely by Tall Emperor. A length then to Beijing. They're followed closely by Native Zam, who's over on the inside of Diamond Bases, followed by Star of the Realm. On the rails next is Young Pirate. Half a length further back, Frontier Boy. Great Vintage on the outside of Flagstaff. A length and a half, Lagiroa. Tennessee Jack was second last, and 2 lengths away at the back of the field is In the Event. Along the side, 1,600 metres out, and now Landowner takes up the running by a half length to Corchubana. 2.5 lengths to Fra on the outside of Tall Emperor. 2 lengths away is Beijing, followed by Native Zama. A length and a half, Star of the Realm on the inside of Diamond Bases. Young Pirate is handy. 1 length further back is Frontier Boy in a fairly well strung outfield, followed by Great Vintage, who's one off the fence around the outside of Flagstaff. 2 lengths further back and running third last, Tennessee Jack, followed by Lagiro, and In the Event is last of all. Over the hill they race with about 1,100 a runner, and Landowner has skipped away with a handy break, about 3 lengths ahead of Corchubana. 2.5 lengths to Tall Emperor on the inside of Fra. 2 lengths further back is Beijing, being followed by Native Zam. Star of the Realm is just in behind them, and they were followed then by Young Pirate, who's over on the inside, and a bit further back then, making up some ground around them, is Great Vintage, and they're followed by Frontier Boy, commencing a move over on the inside to Flagstaff. Still last of all, Tennessee Jack, followed by Lagiro, and In the Event down towards the 650 metre mark now, and here's Quarterman on the outside, moving up to take the lead, tackled quickly by Fra, and over on the outside, Diamond Bases has made a very fast run, and so has Frontier Boy. Then Tall Emperor being hard ridden, followed next around them by Great Vintage, who's making ground in a hurry as they round the home turn. Frontier Boy has ranged up on the outside to tackle Corchubana. Fra in the picture, so is Star of the Realm making ground behind them. Great Vintage to the outside, running on, and then Native Zam as they run down with 300 metres left to go. Frontier Boy headed now by Fra down on the inside, and deeper on the track is Great Vintage, and In the Event is coming from last with a big run. Anybody's race. Here comes In the Event right down the outside, coming at Frontier Boy. Great Vintage in the centre. Great Vintage in the centre. Put ahead in front, close to home. Great Vintage. Great Vintage just got there from In the Event. Frontier Boy third. Fourth home is Corchubana, followed by Native Zam, Tennessee Jack, and then Star of the Realm, followed by Young Pirate. Back behind them then came Fra, followed by Flagstaff. Further away, Lagiro, followed by Tall Emperor, Diamond Bases, and last home is Landowner.
Welcome back to the WACA. 3 for 2 feels that the Western Australians will certainly field better in South Australia. That's race 5. Great Vintage paying $3.50 and $1.70.
First, it's going to be race 6 at Rose Hill. It's the Tooheys Draft Flying Welter, 1350 metres. Your caller is Johnny Tapp.
Thank you, Richie. This is under flying welter conditions, and there's been very good support for Headstrong, trained locally by Brian Guy, a 3-year-old who hasn't won in a long time. He won the Silver Slipper Stakes this time last year, but he's been struggling to recapture that kind of form. He's at 5 to 2 on the win tote. Good support for number 1 Pharaoh, 7 to 2, and number 4 Royal Standing at 7 to 2, so they're joint second picks. Pharaoh is resuming after a spell, and he looks just the way you'd expect him to look first up, a little on the roly-poly side, but he's certainly going to sprint well fresh. Lovely little horse, Pharaoh, getting on a bit now. He's a 6-year-old, but he's got an excellent record of 6 wins and a dozen placings from 28 starts. He's won about $290,000 in prize money. There's Headstrong, winner of the Silver Slipper this time last year. In fact, he won a couple of 2-year-old races in quick succession, and I know the late Ray Guy had Golden Slipper hopes for the horse in the autumn of 1993, but he just didn't measure up. He suddenly became a little erratic, and in fact he lived up to his name in a couple of races and proved somewhat untractable. But his last couple of runs indicate that he might be somewhere near reasonable form again. Now there's Kevin Moses riding Royal Standing. Kevin Moses, the winner of the last 2 Sydney Jockeys Premierships, and in the recently concluded 92-93 season, he chalked up 118 Metropolitan winners, a terrific performance. He is an amazingly consistent jockey. He just never seems to have a bad day, Kevin Moses. He keeps repeating the performance. Now the line's looking pretty good. Now the last couple have moved up. Royal Standing goes up into line, and they look just about ready for race 6. They face squarely. Gates open, off and running now, and one of the first out, Giant Slide on the outside. Left lead is quickly into stride. Headstrong is away well. So is Pharaoh, who has to be bustled a bit to hold his spot, followed by Royal Standing, Palatine Trooping. Getting well back early, Prince Trialia, followed by Princely Patch and More Money. At the end of 300 metres to the first turn they go, and left lead is over racing in front, led about a half length to Giant Slide. Pharaoh third on the inside of Headstrong. The pace slowed appreciably there, followed by Royal Standing, and then Palatine further back, More Money, followed by Trooping and Princely Patch, and Prince Trialia last at the 700 mark. Left lead about 3/4 to Giant Slide, a length and a half to Pharaoh. Royal Standing whipping up quickly on the outside, followed by Headstrong, then Palatine, More Money and Trooping, followed by Prince Trialia, with Princely Patch last in a packing field. To the turn, left lead is the leader over Giant Slide, and making a line of 3, Royal Standing. Pharaoh on the fence behind them, followed by Headstrong and Palatine between horses turning the corner. Straightening up now, left lead joined and headed by Giant Slide. Royal Standing is charging at them on the outside, followed by Palatine, who's about to push into the clear, and then Headstrong at the 200. Royal Standing and Giant Slide have come away. Pharaoh not getting much room. Palatine and Headstrong with More Money wider out. Giant Slide and Royal Standing are fighting it out. They come to the line locked together, but Giant Slide did best and beat Royal Standing. Headstrong, I think, will be third in front of left lead, Palatine and Pharaoh. Close up is More Money, followed by Princely Patch, and the last couple, Prince Trialia and Trooping. Giant Slide, beautifully ridden by Malcolm Fitzgerald, has worried Royal Standing out of it in a very battling finish. Number 6, Giant Slide, Malcolm Fitzgerald, will pay $15 and $3.50. $15.80, in fact, $15.80 and $3.50. Royal Standing, number 4, to pay a place dividend of $1.80. And I think the horse wide out might get third. Number 9 it is, and that was Headstrong, which is showing a place dividend of $1.50. It's a photo all round. And very good to see Malcolm Fitzgerald winning a race. He was beaten inches here earlier on a horse called Clearly Chosen. But he's right back to form again, Malcolm Fitzgerald, and there are many more wins in store, Richie.
Thanks, Johnny. And the unofficial winner there, Giant Slide at Rose Hill. The umpires and players just about due. Welcome back to the WACA ground in Perth with confirmation of Rose Hill Race 6. The placed horses and the New South Wales dividends. Number 6, Giant Slide, $15.80 and $3.50. Number 4, Royal Standing, $1.80 for a place. And number 9, Headstrong, $1.50. Confirmation that is New South Wales dividends there. Here at the WACA, just a reminder of what Western Australia did in the early part of this day in the Mercury.
Race 7 at Caulfield, the Caulfield Stakes. Here's your caller, John Russell.
Queensland Derby here, Seattle. Slight Chance won the Oaks last year at Flemington. All set to go. They're ready. Stand by for a start. Good line. All settled in the stalls. Ready to go. And racing. And it was a great start too, with the exception of Palace Rain, who missed a couple of lengths and dropped back to the rear. The Phantom Chance is one of the first out, not anxious to lead, being headed by Tayaka Nick as they run along the side, and Slight Chances going fast on the outsider. The Phantom Prominent just in behind them, our Tristolite, a length and a half to our Pompeii. Naturalism between horses over on the outside, Reading 2 lengths away, Sub-Zero followed by Mannerism. A length and a half, Kenny's Best Pal being followed by Air Seattle, Castletown, next to last, Vianda Cross, and Palace Rain as last of all along the side at the 1500 metre mark, and Tayaka Nick the pilot by a couple of lengths in advance of Slight Chance. 2 lengths away as the Phantom, who's racing on the outside of the Phantom Chance with the rails running. He's followed by our Tristolite, our Pompeii. A length Naturalism as they climb the hill. They're followed by Sub-Zero on the inside of Reading. 2 lengths away, Mannerism. Kenny's Best Palace in behind them, followed by Air Seattle from Castletown. A long way back, second last, Vianda Cross, and Palace Rain as last of all. Over the hill onto the railway side, 1100 metres left to go. Tayaka Nick by a length to Slight Chance. Moving up on the outside, third, the Phantom. A length and a quarter in the box seat, the Phantom Chance. Close handy out, Tristolite. 2 lengths away as Naturalism moving around the outside of our Pompeii. A length and a half, Sub-Zero Reading. Mannerism starting to gain ground. A length and a half back behind them, Kenny's Best Pal, followed by Air Seattle, Castletown. Vianda Cross is still a long way back, giving the leaders about 12 lengths to that point. And Palace Rain is last of all at the 700 metre mark. Tayaka Nick is being tackled for the lead very quickly here by Slight Chance. In behind them, the Phantom Chance is putting in a run. And also they're over on the outside, making up ground quickly. There is the Phantom, followed by Out Tristolite and Naturalism as they come up to the home turner. Reading a bit further back, being followed by Mannerism, and Vianda Cross a long way back, but starting to gain ground as they make the home turn. The Phantom in the centre takes the lead, tackled by the Phantom Chance on the outside as they head for home. Slight Chance behind them. Reading Naturalism under the web. Vianda Cross not in the hunt at the moment. The Phantom on the inside, and the Phantom Chance are locked together there, wide apart. The Phantom racing a bit greenly to the inside. The Phantom Chance takes the lead. Naturalism flying home. Naturalism in the centre, coming at this leaders. Naturalism's won the Caulfield Stakes, close for second and third. The Phantom or the Phantom Chance behind them. Fourth there was our Pompeii, then Sub-Zero. Next to finish Reading, followed by Mannerism, Air Seattle, Slight Chance, Vianda Cross, followed by Kenny's Best Pal, Tayako Nick, Castletown, Out Tristolite, and last is Palace Rain.
Back at the Wacker from Caulfield, didn't allow them a second run as we look at the dividends from the Caulfield Stakes. Bill for Sydney Race 7, the AHA President's Handicap. Here's Johnny Tapp.
Now it's race 7 coming up in a blustery wind at Rose Hill, and on the tote, the popular pick in a fairly wide betting race is number 3, Hours After, at odds of 9-2. 6-1 Is She Special, looks to be a clear-cut second pick. And or number 9 is also well and truly in commission at odds of 7-2. That's on the Corso. So actually on the Corso is the favourite in a very wide betting race. On the Corso 7-2, 9-2 for number 3, Hours After, 6-1 Is She Special, and then 8-1 number 5, Wyvery, trained on the track by Jack Denham. Another one at 8-1 is Vain Rain, and 10-1 for number 12, Broadside, one of Jack and Bob Ingham's in the famous all cerise colours. Now the last couple have moved up. Rich Involvement is about the last one to go into the stalls, and they're all set now. Starter ready. Pardon me. Zoff is the inside runner facing up squarely, light flashing on top. Uranai, a 10-year-old. The gates open, they're away. Hours After dwelt slightly, and he's last to leave the gate. And Price Cutter looked a knuckle over 50 metres after the start and went straight back to the tail of the field. Vain Rain bounced out in front of Kuringa, followed by Zoff and Broadside prominent soon after the start. And then Darrell Secret from on the Corso. Wyvery taking closer order on the outside, and then Is She Special, followed by Uranai. Then Rich Involvement, Pentas and Hours After, with Price Cutter back at the tail. They're well spread out at the 1,000 mark. Vain Rain the leader. Kuringa second, Zoff third, ahead away Broadside. 2.5 to Wyvery, with on the Corso midfield, and then Is She Special, and out a bit deep is Darrell Secret in the club's colours, followed by Uranai. Pentas is bottled up on the fence, and then Rich Involvement, Hours After, with Price Cutter on the outside last of all. This field is broken up as they come to the 700 mark. Vain Rain is the leader over Kuringa. Zoff is third. Broadside close handy on the outside, about 3 lengths away Wyvery, and then Uranai and Is She Special, followed by on the Corso, flat to the boards and giving them a big start. On the turn, Vain Rain headed by Kuringa. Kuringa takes the lead, straightening up. Broadside putting in a dash, followed by Zoff, and then on the Corso with Hours After getting along the fence. Further out Wyvery and Is She Special. Coming to the 200 mark, Kuringa is clear from Zoff and Broadside. Here's Wyvery joining in on the outside. Wyvery has raced up to hit the lead, 100 out, and Wyvery draws clear. Pentas out of the pack is running on strongly, but Wyvery holding them easily at bay, and punched to the line by Ken Russell. Wyvery is too good. Hours After got right through on the fence to get second. He came from last, or close enough to it. Tight for third, Pentas or Kuringa, followed by Rich Involvement, Broadside, Every Hope. Then on the Corso, Vain Rain knocked up from Zoff and Price Cutter, Is She Special and Uranai, and last of all Darrell Secret. As we go back to the cricket.
I'll try and update you on the BHP Iron Ore League.
Thanks to...
So early on, race 7 at Rose Hill, that's New South Wales dividends. A good payout for number 5, $9.40 and $3.10. $2.20 and $3.20 for the place getters. Race 7, Rose Hill, New South Wales dividends.